So it's day 3 here in Greece, and something happened today with my past. And this episode is really going to be talking about how when you feel like you're in a new expansion or a new timeline and things are really good and things are really high, it's almost as if you're getting tested, or if old parasitic and old patterns and old behaviors from your past, from past lovers, past relationships, past situations tend to rear their ugly head. And in my case, a 20-year-old relationship came forward between me and my children while I was in Greece. Welcome to the Danette May Show, where you'll receive profound breakthroughs, courage to break old patterns, and live into your soul's purpose. Each week, I will bring you epic guests and live coaching to remind you of your power. You have the ability to achieve extraordinary things, and the time to start is now. And because of legal purposes, I did take out a lot of this section. You'll get what I'm throwing down. If you're a part of my premium coaching Lotus Rising program, you actually have a course where me and my daughter are sharing the truth about really what's gone down. And I've written my book, The Rise, which shares a lot, but life is cyclical and the trauma can be cyclical for our evolution, for our karmic clearing. And while I was in Greece, I had the opportunity to be faced off with an experience that had me crumbling, a legal experience. So I did take some parts out, heads up. If you've ever faced something hard, you've felt like your past wants to keep chasing after you, this episode is for you. She called and I answered. I'm Danette May, and this is the journey into the soul of Greece and into the soul of every woman who's ever felt the ache for more. In this series, I'm sharing the dreams, the signs, the guilt, the grief, and the deep remembrance that unfolded as I followed the call to go there last minute. This isn't just about travel, it's about truth, timelines, and touching the sacred. If your wild heart is stirring, you're in the right place, and welcome home. Before we dive deeper, a quick message from today's sponsor. Are you ready to stop playing small and finally step into the life you know you're meant for? I'm Danette May, and I've created a premium coaching program called Lotus Rising for women ready to rise. If you're craving more clarity, confidence, abundance, and purpose, inside you will receive powerful tools, personalized support, and mentorship to help you unlock your full potential and live in alignment with your highest self. Click the link in the show notes. Your next level is waiting, and I'm here for you. Hey, my loves, we are back on the Danette May Show doing the whole Greece pilgrimage series, where I have decided to, last minute, take myself to Greece and give myself an experience to learn about this ancient Minoan culture that is older and really shaped the Grecian culture in Athens. The Minoan culture was around in 3000 to 5000 BC. It is older than ancient Egypt, and it has been blowing my mind to be on these islands and to just see artifacts and Minoan walls along the hills, knowing that so much civilization has been built upon this very profound ancient civilization where women and men were equals. If you have not listened to all of the other parts of the series, I highly recommend going back, start binging them. This is like a book for the summer where you can just dive into this and walk with me. I'm actually walking out on the trails. I'm on a road, actually. They feel like a trail because they're small. And I have this huge mountain range. It is the big national park mountain range where I think it's called the Samaria Gorge. And it's like the Grand Canyon of the USA. This massive and spectacular. And what is blowing my mind is the landscape. It is so diverse with huge, high alpine, rocky mountain fill. And then within 30 minutes, complete ocean, desert, different foliage growing by the sea. I would say this is a utopia because of all the different herbs from cistus to dittany to rosemary that they grow here that have profound healing effects. They grow also blue mala, which is blue, which helps with not only hormone, sexual prowess, but also just really balancing everything for harmony for the female. And it's just profound, the herbs, the sea salt, the olive oil that grows here. So healing and so healthy. And right now I'm just walking on these roads
overlooking this massive mountain range. The rain is coming in, but I want to connect with all of you because we are now I think it's day 3. And actually, I'm reporting on what happened on day 3 the next day. And it was a really big day. I wouldn't have expected this. I was noticing the utter joy that I've been feeling since I landed down in Greece. I hadn't felt this much bliss in I don't know how long. It was this extreme cellular guttural feeling of bliss. And I even woke up on morning of day 3 going, oh, I feel a little uneasy with how good it feels. And I feel a little uneasy sharing maybe on social media how good it actually is. There are so many people suffering in the world. Who am I to experience this much happiness, this much bliss, this much joy, this much expansion inside of my body? Because you see, I'm not running into anyone. I'm not hanging out with anyone but one girlfriend and myself. I'm having a lot of solo time. I'm having some friend time. And I'm having a lot of nature time, connecting with different elements, what I would call spirit time, with a higher power, with God, with source. And it has left me in a feeling I haven't felt in I don't know how long. This deep satisfaction, this deep peace, this deep rest, this deep happiness. And I woke up with this weird feeling of undeserving. Who am I? And if I share about this, it's going to take away from someone else's happiness, or I'm bypassing the pain that I know that people are experiencing. And I had to really look at that. I woke up in the morning and I'm like looking out over the water and I'm feeling this immense happiness. And I said, wow, this is interesting. We're taught that if you are happy, you must be extracting from someone else's happiness. If you are happy and you are thriving and you feel abundant, that you are not feeling into the sorrows and the atrocities that are going on in the world. Granted, if I put my mind to what's going on in the world, which our civilization is so advanced in the fact of our technology that we can know what's going on overseas. We can know what's going on in another country, whether we're there or not, whether we're witnessing it with our own eyes or not. We can see it, feel it. We feel it because we see it and we're watching it on TV or watching it through our phones. And it can bring us into the deepest feeling of helplessness, the deepest feeling of anger, rage, sorrow. What can I do? How can I help? And I've had to really wrestle with this idea of what can I do? I can send money and donations and I can send prayers. And yes, I can do those things. But if I sit in the sadness and the anger and the rage, am I really actually helping? And I've learned this on a very fundamental level being a mom. Because as a mom, if you choose to worry about your child when your child's out and about with friends, or if you choose to worry about your child and they're not succeeding in school, we know this on a scientific level. If you choose this, you know what's going to happen? You're going to stir it up and create more of it. It's called the Pygmalion effect. It's been truly proven that what you put out and what for someone else and yourself, you get more of it. It goes with the phenomenon of what you focus on expands. And so I've known as a mother, my greatest work can be to hold my kids in the highest light, to not sit there and worry about them and fret that they're not doing okay and that I need to worry. Because if I can't do anything about it, the greatest thing I can do for them is actually see that they're empowered, that it's all part of their growth, that they're going to figure it out, that they're going to be okay, and that there's a power greater than me that's got them. There's a power greater than me that knows their plan and is sorting it all out. And that is the deepest work, because when you see your child suffering and you feel like you can't fix it or do anything around it, it puts you in a tailspin. But it is the greatest work we can do as mothers, as parents, is to lean back, trust in a higher power, trusting in the unfoldment of things that are difficult, knowing that when we went through very difficult things, when we went through challenges, it only created and molded us to our highest destiny, that we used it as alchemy to learn, to evolve, to master our own karmic fate. And so as I reflect on a mother and I reflect on this emotion of feeling so much goodness in my own body, and am I extracting from someone else? Am I, because I'm happy, taking away from someone else's joy? And the absolute truth is no. The absolute truth is that I can sit and worry and I can sit and be angry at the injustices, but it's not helping a single thing. That I actually, if I can do something, I do something. If you can do something to support your kid, offer wisdom, advice, direction, love, do it. Now, if you cannot, you have to surrender. But you being in joy, you being in your power, you being in your light is the greatest thing you can do for your child. And it's the greatest thing you can do for the world. It's just trusting in the unfoldment of what is happening, even if it's hard to understand. I think Deborah Silverman says this analogy so beautifully. She was talking about childbirth. And if we had never seen childbirth, but we had never witnessed it, didn't know what it was, and we walked in on a woman having a baby, you would think she was going to die. You would think you needed to stop what was actually happening, to make it stop, to fix it, to do whatever you could. But if you did that, you would end up stopping the birth of a child, the birth and the evolution of this deep soul. And so this is what I'm taking from this is that I don't understand everything going on in the world. I can't fix it. I can hear about it, but me ruminating on it, me being sad about it is not fixing it. Me being in my highest joy, me trusting and leaning that something greater might be at play is what I can do. And so I leaned back and I felt and reflected on this, and I decided to just feel the joy, to feel the peace so deep, like I'd never felt it before, and see if I can surrender to it. I interrupt this deep introspection as I was crossing the road. The power's out here in this little small town I'm staying in south of Crete by Slovakia. And they're putting up power poles and working together. And I noticed that some of the locals are stopped on the tiny road because there's the crew here putting up a big electrical pole. And they're just patient. The mama rolls down her road. She looks and she's like, it's okay. She's Lord, 2 to 3 hours. And I was like, perfect. And she's just calm, sitting in her car, not a worry, just so much joy here. There's nothing to rush. There's nothing to get to that is urgent. If family's okay, they're okay. And what a lesson for me. And maybe that's part of this joy that I'm feeling. It's part of this way of being that I'm feeling in this part of Crete. It is so slow. It is so peaceful. Feels so safe. I don't know if I felt this safe in my body. It brings tears to my eyes. Even when I stay, and I live in a beautifully safe place in Colorado, but if Craig's out of town or I'm home alone, there's times I don't really feel safe when I'm sleeping. There's times when I don't know if I'm okay, just safe. And here, you would think because it's an unknown land and I'm not super familiar with it that I might not feel safe, but I feel so safe. So I sleep so deep. And that's part of this bliss that's been coming up and this expansion inside of my body. I haven't felt this deep exhale in such a long time. And I'm just so immensely grateful for it because as a woman, I have been, and I'll get to the story, as a woman, as a mom, I have been living in so much fear. I have fear coursing through my veins, probably from lineages of women coursing through my DNA where just haven't felt safe with men. Wondering if I park my car in the wrong alley or in the wrong carport, am I going to get raped? Am I going to get killed? I felt that when I go running on roads, like walking on this road right now, I feel safe. I wouldn't feel this in other places because there's no one around. And so to have this deep exhale of, oh, it's just bringing tears to my eyes right now that I'm safe. And some of you might be like, Danette, that's delusional. You are in Greece and you are not necessarily safe. I understand frequency. I can feel energy. And I have most of the time been safe, but I have felt filaments of fear being a female in certain parts of the world, in certain locations, even places that people would say that's completely safe. Colorado in the mountains, safe. There's times when I do hike out in nature, I don't feel safe with men that are alone out hiking in nature. And as a woman, most of you too have felt these filaments of just always looking a little bit over your shoulder. And then you get yourself into potentially relationships because of karma where, wow, they rattled you to your bones. You felt like you were in this loving relationship. You felt like this was your person and they showed you a whole nother side. And the people that you trusted, it could be female friendships. It could be a parent relationship where you were supposed to feel safe and they showed you something completely different and it rattles you. It makes you wonder who you can trust, who you can look around and feel. And I'm having this sensation that I'm here to unravel a big portion of that in my body because my past relationship, my ex, rattled me to my core. I didn't even realize the PTSD that I had been holding on to in that first relationship and how I tried to be very careful where I walked, what I did, because I didn't know what personality I was going to get. I didn't know if I was actually safe. And especially when I decided that I don't want to be with you anymore, all of a sudden a new person emerged, a person that completely scared me to my core, a person I didn't even know was under the layers and the bones and the sinews of this human. And I know some of you can understand this, and parts of him came out that made me feel that my life may not be here. And then last year, information came out about him, things he was doing to my children that have rattled me to the depths of every part of me, that has made me look around and go, what is safe? What man is safe? Am I safe? Are my kids safe? And nothing takes a woman off her kilter, her steadiness more than that. And so I'm facing off with those feelings here in Greece of just utter joy, utter expansion, utter peace, utter nervous system unraveling, feeling my power, feeling my voice, feeling I can be all of me. And then something happens when we start to unravel these old timelines, because I would say that past relationship was an old timeline. I have buried that woman. I have let her go. The woman that decided to marry him, that decided to stay longer than she knew she should stay because of conditionings around what she felt marriage should be and shouldn't be, she stayed. I have worked so hard to look at who she was, why she made the choices she did, to forgive her, to say, hey, this was all conditioning from your birth, which led you here. You can forgive her, you can let her go, and you can reclaim the parts of yourself that want to be reclaimed. And so that is what I've been doing for years. And I've been teaching women, and I've been trying to help women claim that part of themselves as I've helped myself. And I've started to learn about the power of the mind. And I've understood that the power of the mind tries to keep us safe. And when we choose to expand and evolve, what happens is it's basically breaking an imaginary glass ceiling, and the brain freaks out because not because you're actually in danger, but because it's a new frequency inside of the body. And so what happens is you will be shown in physical form evidence of that expansion where it's trying to pull you back. You've seen this in a lot of different ways of your life. I'll give you some examples. You've seen it when you've decided to break up with a boyfriend. You stayed in this relationship a long time. You got numb to the behavior. You almost self-sacrificed yourself. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You didn't really speak up. And then you finally start to see some filaments of the light of, hey, this is actually not good for me. It is time to remove myself from this relationship. And as soon as you do, they either try to crawl back, they try to pull you back, and then maybe you are strong enough and you stay out of it and you say no, and you hold your line, and then a year goes by. And you're expanding even more because now you've started to heal. And your light's getting bigger, and your frequency and your energy is expanding. And all of a sudden you get the random text that they're thinking of you. Another filament to pull you back into an old frequency, an old timeline. And you might have seen this in jobs. Maybe you are like, I was in a job that was not good for me. I finally pulled out, but then they might come back and go, hey, I'll pay you this much money. Or you're just ready to pull out and you're starting to see that this is not good for you, not good for your patterning, not good for the mother you want to be or the person you want to be. They'll put some money raised down, right? Where you're like, this is a hard decision because now I'm getting offered this amount of money. This happens in so many different scenarios. Or you'll be like, hey, I have this dream in my heart. I want to do this thing and it's different and it's new, and you go after it. And then what happens is you get scared and you take it as a sign that it's unsafe, that I shouldn't do it versus just stepping into it. I say following the butterflies. And people stop dream after dream, expansion after expansion because of this deep nervous system fear, which the body doesn't, it shows up in fear or excitement, but it's all the same. And it's your job as a beautiful human to decipher, is this just excitement because it's new? Or is this really dangerous? Most of the dreams, most of the things that you have that your soul's asking you to do is actually safe. It just is new. And so it shows up in this vibration in the body that feels like fear. But the body doesn't know the difference between fear and excitement. It just knows it's a vibration of the neurons and the cells going on. This is what's happening in this moment on day 3. I'm having like a soul day, a day of just hearing the waves, of just noticing the olive trees, of looking at the beautiful flowers and the landscapes, of swimming in the ocean, a slow day, a delicious day of eating delicious food. And what happens if that is not your norm, if that's not your normal frequency, the body's going to go, there's going to be either a physical scenario that's going to pull you back into an old timeline to really test if you've done the expanding, right? Or you'll have these emotions of, oh, I feel unworthy to receive this much joy, and you'll feel shame or guilt for feeling this much expansion. Trust me, I've been feeling it all. So the day goes on. I even get the most delicious body work. I'm like, heck, why not? I can get a massage, even though I just had one 2 days ago. She was so good. I'm going to get another one. I'm having a massage. Then I do a deep meditation. Then we decide as girlfriends to dress up and to partake in this specialty wine that the owner of the home had put together and to take photos and to just be an expression. We had this moment where we're out in the ocean and we're giving each other permission as women, which is also an upgrade for me. I haven't always felt like I can be my fullest expression in the living daylight with other women because I don't want to take away from their light. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable and me and my expansion and my brightness and my power. So I've sometimes dimmed it. Other times I do not, but at times I've dimmed it. Or I'll create a container and a healing experience or in my high level premium coaching where it feels safe to be in my power. But a deep girl friendship when I'm one-on-one in a place in Greece, oh, is that safe? I'm not sure. Am I safe with this girlfriend? And we were having this moment where we were just really egging each other on in our power and taking photos of one another. And I started to really feel the ocean and I started to remember this remembrance. And I was having this beautiful like awakening within my cells with the water and the ocean. And I'm dancing with it. And she's capturing these beautiful photos that I actually look at and don't go, I don't look very good. Ah, I look fat. Oh, I look swollen. Ah, I wish my eye didn't do that. You know how we look at these photos of ourselves and we just totally like say the most awful things to ourselves on these photos? And this was the first time I'd look at the photos and be like, wow, that's me. Oh, I love what I see. And there I was in this moment, and it was profound and it was beautiful. And I pray that when you're actually listening to this episode, what's about to happen actually is on the other side of it. But you see, what's happening at home as I'm here in Greece is, like I mentioned, some things got, without me saying too much legally, some things got exposed. This is what's been going on. It's been beautiful. It's been heart-wrenching. It's been all the emotion the mom can feel because we've gotten closer together. We've exposed a lot. And for those who are in my premium coaching members, you guys know more of the story because me and my daughter did a series around really healing this lineage line, this mother-daughter wound or this child-mother wound, and also really looking at what brings on these patterns and really how do you break them. And so we've done that. We've created this whole course where we share the books we read, the meditations, the things we did to grow as individuals from a teen perspective and a mother's perspective, and how we healed the bond together and how we are healing this lineage line so that it doesn't repeat in her children and the children after. And we share all of this because we believe this is the work of all of us that we all get to do with our children and as mothers or with our own parents, right? Whether they're living or not, we can break these patterns, these lineage lines that we're like, no more. It stops with me. And I thought I was healed from it. I thought I'd done the forgiveness. If you read my book, The Rise, I thought I had fully evolved into radical forgiveness. And I thought I had until new information came out since I wrote that book. And it's left me to my knees, to be honest. It's made me so utterly crushed and has made me go deeper into my somatic work, deeper into my trauma work, deeper into forgiveness and releasing. And I've been in that journey. I wouldn't say I'm on the other side yet, obviously, because of what happened on day 3 in Greece. The Spirit knows. If we're willing to listen, we'll be able to be guided by a very loving, kind, what I believe is God, Spirit, guides, angels, but I call it God. For me, I have a deep, close relationship with God. Even in my hardest times, I've known He's always walked with me. He's always been there for me. He's always been guiding me. And sometimes these things are just contracts that I have chosen, I've signed up for somehow, in some way, before I came here on earth, so that I could choose forgiveness, so I could choose the higher vibration, so I could choose love despite it all. And that is my truth. That's what I believe. And I've been in that, but you see there, when you have trauma that might have happened in your youth or in your teens or your early 20s or your first major love relationship or a marriage or whatever, sometimes we get out as a way to protect ourselves and we think we've healed, but there's other layers. They call it the infinite onion. And there's always more layers. It feels to this deep transformation. And I had just gotten out of the waters of this really profound experience, working with the elements and being seen by my girlfriend and feeling this energy of just so much bliss. I can hardly stand it. I kept telling her it just feels overwhelming. I haven't felt this joy, this power, I don't know if ever. And I get into the hot tub. I got my plate of cheese and grapes, and I'm sitting there. I'm ready to enjoy this hot tub under the stars, just the culmination of this epic day. And I see a text from my husband, and it says, "Hey, the attorneys need you to get back to them. Can you respond and give them a time when you can talk?" And so I see that the attorneys, "Yes, we heard back from your ex, and we would like to talk to you about his response." I'm like, "Huh, okay, I'm in Greece. And when I get back, which is in a few days, we can get on a call at this time." And then I scroll through the email again and I see another email from them, and it's basically saying this is his response. So I open it and I read the email that he has sent to them. And it's basically saying that he's coming after me, that he's going after me for defamation of character. Now, normally, this probably wouldn't have affected me, but I went through so much legal untruth, so much crap, to be honest with you. When we did separate back in 2012, that my nervous system hadn't healed from that. My nervous system was in deep fear back then. This is when I was scared for my life. Just a lot of the things that really tough divorces, really gnarly divorces experience. And you go through this legal system where you're drained of funds and you are going back and forth and all these untruths are being said. And the deeper thing was money for me and losing my children. I had no money. A lot of you know my story. $47 to my name that he had taken from all the bank accounts. So I had to find it in my home. And so I struggled with knowing how to feed my kids, never once paying child support, and trying to say, how do I take care of my kids? How do I support these kids and feed them because they are living with me and because now all the money has been drained and I have to try to prove this in court and see what I can do. But I also knew he didn't have any money. So how was I even going to get it back? And so you're just like this single mom now that has no money. You're just in this deep fear of how do I feed for my kids? It's so deep in the cells, wondering about feeding your kids. And then on top of it, all these lies being spewed about you to try to get the kids out from you, because then he knows that's the deepest wound he can inflict on me is removing these souls from my care. So I have to get savvy. I have to put my warrior suit on. I have to show up, but my nervous system is wrecked. This is the forgiveness work I had to do. But I guess I hadn't fully healed that trauma response. So I'm reading this email in the hot tub with the grapes and the cheese sitting next to me, just coming from the deepest high. My girlfriend doing something else. Read this, and I instantly go back to that version of myself 15 years ago, sitting in court, fighting for my kids, fighting for my life, fighting for money to feed them. And I go back there. I instantly was there. And I just felt this feeling and deep fear that he was going to take everything from me. Forgetting that I have a 22-year-old and almost an 18-year-old, forgetting that I actually have my power, forgetting that I have only spoken truth, forgetting that there's really no legs he can stand on, forgetting that he's just a dog backed into a corner with a big bark and a bite, and he's wanting to say all the things he knows to get my Achilles heel. And my body went into a response, but my mind was like, I know what's going on. but my body started to shake. I started to go into a somatic response of shaking. My jaw couldn't stop it from shaking. I started sobbing. Like I went into a panic attack. I was trying to get a hold of Craig. I'm trying to get a hold of him. And then I see my youngest daughter text me, Mom, I need to talk to you. Mom, can you talk to me? And I'm like, it's 11 o'clock here in Greece. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I need to collect myself. But I'm like, I go to my people, which Craig is definitely my person, because they're honest with me, because I know I can really lean on them to ground me when I need it. My girlfriend comes over. She sees that I'm in it. I can't even sit up straight. My body's in a crouched, protective position. My jaw is just vibrating. I'm shaking and I'm crying. And she's, what's going on? And Craig had called me right in that moment. And I said, Craig, I just saw the email. I'm like, was just trying to get words out. And he said, you don't need to worry about this. And then he explained all the things. He said, this is just a way to get you. He knows what to say to you. He knows what to do. There's nothing. Danette, don't worry about it. It's okay. Everybody's going to be okay. I got to respond to my daughter. As soon as I get on the phone with her, this white butterfly, I have a picture of it. You'll have to go to my social at the Danette to see this picture, lands on my cheek, right on my cheek, on my right cheek. And my girlfriend's, oh my gosh. And she starts taking video as I'm talking to my daughter, holding myself together. And it was as if spirit was saying, you hold your children and I will hold you. And it was such a divine message. And that white butterfly stayed on my face until I got done talking to my daughter. And then I put the phone away, looked at my friend. She was like, you will never forget this moment. And I was like, you're right. I will never forget this moment. And we got to sit here and process everything. So everything happened probably in a span of 10 to 15 minutes, which felt like a lifetime of going with this beautiful white butterfly on my cheek the whole time, just holding its presence, just as this beautiful symbol from spirit. And I got to process that I had to go here in my highest of highs. I had to feel this low of low, this old traumatic response to break this chain, to say no more. Because I was like, I feel so ready to take you on. And I'm not doing it in fear. I have built myself up in power. I have built myself up in forgiveness. I have built myself up in doing the deep internal work to extract and eradicate this behavior from my life. And I felt that power go through my whole body. And it was like, bam, that old timeline is going to be gone. It is no longer, he has no more power over me. And I know he feels it. I know he feels it. And when narcissists are in your life, and some of us have them and some of us don't, thankfully, they're obviously something we choose to bring on so that we can see our power, so that we can go, no more of this gaslighting, no more of these empty threats, no more of diminishing my power. And I finally got to feel it, but in intensity that I wouldn't have felt if I hadn't slipped into the depths of the old programming, of the old somatic trauma. And I got to sit there with this beautiful butterfly and claim that, and to feel that, and to know, hey, I am protected. I am safe. My kids are protected. My kids are safe. It was a profound moment for me. And I went to bed that night, talked to my kids. They were in their power. Everyone was in their power. Everyone was in not necessarily peace, but power and knowing. And as women, we get to be reminded that we do know, and to trust our knowing, and to trust our voice, and to lean into that. And so that is what unraveled and what occurred here in Greece. And I bow down to Mama Greece, to the magic that she is, to the history, to the ancestors of these lands, for them supporting me in this evolution of me. I said to my daughter before I left for this trip, in joking, I said, your mom's going to come back a different person. And now I know I am. And I am going to handle this situation differently than I probably ever would if I hadn't felt it as deeply as I did here. So if you are in the expansion of your life, you are in the growth, You're in the cutting of the chains of old patterns. Know that you will be tested. Know that you will have moments where old somatic trauma responses may happen in your body. But get some coaching, get some help. And this is what I teach inside of premium coaching. So if ever you want to be a part of this group, you're more than welcome, because we're all on this journey. I don't care if you're a therapist. I don't care if you're a somatic healer. You're going to have your moments as a human. We're all evolving. We're all growing. And these are going to come up in our own ways with our own traumas and our own karmic lines that we get to clear, to break the chains, to stand in our power. And I'm wrapping you up in so much love if you're on this journey. And of course, you're on this journey. Sometimes we're just flowing. Sometimes we're just numbed out. Sometimes we're in expansion and growth and aliveness. And I believe the work is to truly love all of it, but choose more of the aliveness. Choose less numbing and more truth. Choose more of the feeling of it all and letting yourself be in the feeling of it all. And also the reclaiming of the truth of who you are, letting yourself be held in that truth. I'm wrapping you up in all this love. Thank you for being on this journey with me. On day 4, we're going to a town called Hania, where it's once again this beautiful like Venetian port got built over an ancient Minoan civilization. And there's obviously wonderful food and shopping, picking up some herbs and some raw honey from the area, and going over a beautiful mountain range. So we'll go and bring you into day 4 and 5 on the next episode of the Greece Journals. Love you all so much.